I don't know. With his experience, I don't know. I never seen the guy fight, so I can't testify to, what he's capable of doing. But I know Usyk, and I know what level he's on, and I think he's up for it. He's going to put on an amazing show come Saturday night, and I just wish them both the best, and, hopefully both of them can leave the ring safely and sound.
I think Usyk loses this fight in Egypt.
Does he want to do it, and how fast does he want to do it? Does he want to do it when the bell rings or go after? Then he breaks the guy down. I think the over-under is 3.5, right? Something like that. Then he breaks the guy down. He's got a shot for the under. Otherwise, it's going to be over. What does he want to do in this fight? It's up to Usyk.
It would be a big win for Verhoeven if it is competitive. Verhoeven has more paths to victory. He can win the event in more different ways than Usyk, because he doesn't have to technically win.
Fight week has officially arrived for the highly anticipated Oleksandr Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven showdown, and predictions are now pouring in from across the boxing world. With two dominant champions from different combat sports set to collide on May 23rd, the matchup has sparked major debate and excitement among fighters and analysts alike.
This guy, as I said, he doesn't have that background. He stands straight up. He's had 76 fights. He's won 66. He's got 26 knockouts. He's not a huge puncher. His best punch is the right hand. That can be effective against the southpaw. Usyk's a southpaw. That can be the southpaw killer. I get it. It's not going to be. Usyk's too versatile, too good for him. His defense, his offense.
Teddy Atlas makes it clear that he does not expect an upset, stressing the gap in experience at elite boxing level. He argues that the lack of boxing experience of Rico makes it difficult to compete with top-tier specialists in the sport.
We're not going to see an upset. Verhoeven is a legendary kickboxer, but he's had one pro boxing fight, and he won.
In 2014.
Against a handpicked guy. So he's 1-0, and he's not going to be 2-0.
Teddy emphasizes respect for every opponent, particularly one who is strong, athletic, and seasoned in kickboxing. Still, he stresses that elite boxing operates at an entirely different standard, and he does not view Verhoeven as having a realistic chance against Usyk in a boxing ring.
He's in good shape. He's physical. He's game, he's experienced in the kickboxing realm. You don't take anyone for granted, but he doesn't figure to have any chance against Usyk. And Usyk is a serious guy, so I can't imagine like we were thinking about when, Tyson was fighting with Jake Paul and other events like that.
Meanwhile, Mike Coppinger feels Oleksandr Usyk continues to look elite with no clear signs of decline in his skill or sharpness. He also points out that Usyk appears physically bigger and more muscular recently, giving him a stronger and more imposing look ahead of the fight.
Even though Usyk's 39, I feel like he's at the top of his game.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any slippage at all. I feel like and if you see the photos, it looks like Usyk put on a lot of muscle. I mean, this guy looks like a tank right now.
It's true.
Rico don't got a shot.
Mike Coppinger also warns against overlooking Rico Verhoeven, pointing to his long reign in kickboxing and years of experience competing at the highest level. He believes Verhoeven's size, composure, and striking background could allow him to perform better in boxing than many expect.
Guy that's so accomplished like Usyk, and then you're fighting a guy that is only his second pro fight, and he's doing a bunch of punching from weird angles. It could be a little embarrassing because it's not the same, it's not the basic boxing style. Yeah, so you could probably get hit with weird shots that are coming from all crazy angles, him stepping off. So it could probably present complications for Usyk.
It's like the Ricardo Mayorga effect.
Yeah.
However, Tom Aspinall views Rico Verhoeven as somewhat underrated in a matchup against Oleksandr Usyk. While still acknowledging Usyk's clear edge overall, he points to Verhoeven's size, experience, and power as factors that shouldn't be ignored. He adds that one clean shot could change the momentum and potentially make the contest more competitive than many expect.
What do you make of the fight between Oleksandr Usyk and Rico Verhoeven?
I mean, I think Rico's getting wrote off.
Did you come across him at Peter Fury's gym?
Listen, I've been training with Rico for the last 10 years, so I'm obviously pretty Rico biased. Rico's a good friend of mine. But he's a big man. He's had a lot of fights. Fair enough, they're fighting a different sport. But he can, like, if he hits him, it could be over. Do I think that Rico's a better boxer than Usyk? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that at all. But I think that he's getting wrote off and he's definitely got a chance of winning.
Adding to the discussion, Chris Arreola believes physical attributes play a major role in this matchup, especially when it comes to natural strength and overall presence. Although he gives credit to the opponent's kickboxing experience and ability to absorb punishment, he still expects Oleksandr Usyk to take control early and secure a stoppage without the fight lasting long.
What are your thoughts about this?
First of all, you can't teach size. You can't teach 6'5", 270. You can't teach that, all right? Second of all, whether it's kickboxing or boxing, he still has a pedigree of fighting. He knows what it's like to get hit. And those kicks ain't no joke. I'd rather get punched than kicked.
Right.
So he must have a good chin or good body work. So I'm looking forward just to see what Usyk could do against a lesser opponent. You probably should end up within 2 to 3 rounds.
Shane McGuigan agrees that the matchup strongly favors Oleksandr Usyk, arguing that boxing and kickboxing require very different skill sets at the elite level. He believes a pure boxer holds a major technical advantage in that environment, making the fight difficult for a kickboxer to overcome.
Yeah, just your thoughts and feelings on that fight.
Yeah, I feel like there's levels to this game. As a kickboxer, he's always going to be up against the guy who's a master at boxing. I don't think he's got a chance at all.
Yeah, brilliant. Shane, appreciate the time as always. Always good to speak to you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Eddie Hall offers a different perspective, drawing on years of training alongside Rico Verhoeven and observing him up close in competition. He doesn't dismiss the importance of switching sports, but argues that people underestimate what Verhoeven brings as a physical and athletic specimen.
I think Rico's going to surprise a lot of people. I think win, draw or lose, he's going to shock the world. I think everyone's written him off.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege to spend quite a bit of time with Rico. I've trained with Rico. I've been to watch him fight, ringside. He has got to be, hand on heart, the most frightening person on the planet. And even like top fighters say that, like Tom Aspinall wouldn't fight Rico in kickboxing. That's how scary a human being he is. For Tom Aspinall to say, I wouldn't fuck with Rico. And I could see it in his face, like he genuinely meant it. I think Rico is the scariest man on the planet.
Meanwhile, Dave Allen gives an honest outside view based on his sparring experience with Rico Verhoeven. He confirms the physical tools are real, including size, strength, and punching power. However, he also makes it clear that those attributes alone are not enough to bridge the gap to elite-level boxing competition.
Joshua, as Tyson Fury, he's beat everybody. It don't get no more deserving for a fight like this than Alexander.
Not if you beat a Fury. He doesn't think it is a give me at all. I can tell you that now. I'm fascinated to hear from him later on.
Do you know what, Anna? I think you're right, but and Peter's a really good coach. One of the most honourable men I've met in boxing and I've had the luxury of spending time with. But this is a fight where Oleksandr Usyk, when you look at them resumes and them records on that list, he is the one fighter who's defeated them all.
Yep.
And let's not forget.
On the other hand, Eddie Hearn highlights the scale of the challenge when moving between combat sports and immediately stepping in with elite-level boxing opposition. He notes that the difficulty increases significantly when facing one of the sport's top pound-for-pound fighters. While acknowledging Verhoeven's power and the danger of heavyweight exchanges, he points to the experience gap at this level as a major obstacle.
I think it's a massive mountain to climb. I think whenever you are changing disciplines and you come in against the best in the division, it's always going to be a hard night's work. You're not just doing that against the best in the division, you're doing that against a pound-for-pound number one. But in this division, as we saw with Ngannou against Fury, and the difference is these guys can really punch, and if they land clean, there's going to be a problem, and Verhoeven can really punch.
Johnny Nelson also points out that Oleksandr Usyk has already cleared out the top names in the division, leaving fewer major challenges that also bring huge financial reward. He suggests that current matchmaking is as much about business as legacy, with fighters seeking high-profile opportunities that carry relatively lower risk. He frames the situation as a strategic move to generate strong interest and maximize earnings while maintaining status at the top level.
Would you have accepted someone from kickboxing fighting you for your world title while you were holding it, with him never having competed at that level?
Well, you've got to look at Alexander, what he's done. He's wiped the floor with everybody. He's established himself at the top there. So now you look at him and you'll think financially, will he be in a better position than Tyson Fury? No, not in my opinion.
Anthony Joshua? No, not in my opinion. The big money fights aren't out there for him, so he's got to do something. He's got to put himself in a position where he's got to win, because he's proved he's top draw. So in this fight here, I think it creates interest, intrigue. I'm quite sure there's a healthy pay packet at the end of it. This is now business for him. This is now because he's thinking, I've proved it all to you, so I've got to make as much as I can. Because remember, the talk was Deontay Wilder for a short while, because he wants to get all the scalps. He wants to look at the biggest names out there with the least amount of risk, and you can't blame him.
Paul Smith also added his thoughts and expects the matchup to remain relatively straightforward despite the natural unpredictability of combat sports. He recognizes the opponent's punching power, kickboxing experience, and heavyweight size, but argues that elite boxing demands far more than physical traits alone.
Can you see a world where this is a challenge for Usyk, or is it just a simple case of he does him when he wants to?
I think it should be relatively straightforward, but it's combat sport, it's boxing. At the end of the day, he's got 2 arms, he can punch, he's a banger in the kickboxing. He's heavy-handed apparently, and he's got a lot of power, and he's working with Peter Fury, so he will be a bit unorthodox, but I think as soon as Usyk gets to grips with it and eases into it, it should be relatively straightforward. I said last week on here, I'm not putting Dave Allen down. There's so many other factors that have got to go your way to have a chance in it, and just having 2 arms and being able to punch and being in the heavyweight division isn't one of them. But I just think, yeah, there's too much at stake for Usyk to take his eye off the ball and let it slip. He's a consummate professional. He's always done it the right way, and I just can't see anything but a relatively straightforward win for him.
As the hype grows further, Spencer Oliver points out that the fighter recognizes this as a rare heavyweight opportunity where timing and limited chances are crucial. He describes him as a powerful puncher with an imposing physical presence who has spent roughly 6 months refining his skills under Peter Fury. He also notes that he already has a strong boxing base and is now prepared to make the most of the moment.
Like, he recognises the opportunity, and that's what this game is. It's opportunity. It's heavyweight boxing. The kid can whack. He's a big old lump, and he's going to go out there. He's trained for 6 months for this, believe it or not, under the watchful eye of Peter Fury. You know, he's good with his hands anyway, and he gets that opportunity.
However, Chris Oliver expects Verhoeven to be a clear underdog because of the shift into a different combat sport. He credits his size and power, but notes those traits haven't troubled Usyk before. He also points out Usyk's ability to take clean shots with little effect, while still calling it an interesting stylistic matchup.
Verhoeven, I think that he would probably be a bigger underdog than Dave Allen was against Hrgovic, that's for sure. Like, it's a different discipline. Yeah, he's a big old lump.
He's an impressive figure, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an impressive figure, but he talks about size being a massive advantage for him, and when he lands that punch, none of the fighters before have been able to land that punch on Oleksandr Usyk, and when they have landed, you know, like, there's been no effect. So look.
Furthermore, Liam Harrison focuses on the challenge of adapting between combat sports, pointing out that strategies effective in kickboxing don't carry over directly into boxing. He stresses that success at the highest boxing level is built on refined fundamentals and long-term specialization. While backing Usyk's superiority in that environment, he still gives credit to Verhoeven for establishing himself as a dominant figure in his own discipline and earning high-profile opportunities.
Well, that'd be wild, wouldn't it? I think Rico's gonna have to boot him in leg or something. Though, if he wants to get any sort of advantage over him, no one can beat Usyk in a boxing fight. I don't care who you are. No one on this planet. He's the best heavyweight on this planet, and he's the best heavyweight of his era. If guys like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua can't put a dent in him, no one's going to be able to put a dent in him, I'm afraid. So yeah, Rico will have to throw a few leg kicks if he wants to get one over on him there. But again, Rico's a legend of kickboxing. Guys like that who have paved the way in kickboxing and have been the goats of their generation, they deserve to get these paydays and these sort of chances to showcase what they can do and just to promote themselves and to get some big money and stuff. So yeah, it'd be nice to see, to be fair.
Showbiz focuses on the contrast in backgrounds between both athletes, emphasizing how Verhoeven's reputation has been built through kickboxing competition rather than boxing. He points out that different rule sets shape fighters in very different ways, making direct comparisons difficult. He also touches on Usyk's openness to unusual challenges throughout his career, noting his interest in facing opponents from varied combat disciplines.
I looked up Rico Verhoeven, and that guy is an absolute beast, to be honest. He's a tank. He's a wrecking machine, a knockout artist. The guy's a monster. But in kickboxing, not boxing. So why would Oleksandr Usyk do something like that? Well, if you know Oleksandr Usyk the way I do, the guy is just one of those warriors. He always admired martial arts and mixed martial arts, dressing up like a samurai and shit like that. Look at his training. His training is strange. And he said many times, him fighting an MMA guy or a karate guy or a kickboxer, that was something that he always desired. Hell, he called out Alex Pereira at one point.
Analyzing the matchup, Kelvin Henderson points out that crossover combat sports events often face challenges in building mainstream appeal, especially in markets like the United States, where familiarity with athletes can vary. He notes that reputation in one discipline doesn't always translate directly to recognition in another. Despite that, he expects global interest whenever elite-level champions from different backgrounds are involved.
Usyk just recently announced his next opponent, Rico Verhoeven, I guess. I don't know much about the guy, but apparently he's a huge kickboxing star, kickboxing champion. I'm not sure if it's a fight that Americans or the American entertainment value is going to really buy, but apparently he's a well-known name across the world in kickboxing. So we're going to see. I mean, it's hard for me to go against Usyk in this, man, just because Usyk is just a boxer. Maybe it's just a big PR money grab to afford the purse that Usyk is well deserved. But I don't know. Of course, I got to go with Usyk right now. What y'all think? Let me know.
When you strip it all down, this is a classic case of skill versus physicality, where every small detail could matter once the action starts. Different styles, different backgrounds, and different paths all colliding in one high-stakes scenario that keeps fans debating every angle. The discussion doesn't end here. Tell us how you see it playing out. And for more deep dives and fight breakdowns, stay connected, like the video, and subscribe for more.